Hello, my name is Mark Watson. I'm speaking to you from Australia, in the land of the traditional owners, the Wathaurong people. Thanks for this opportunity to talk on this important issue at an important time in our human development. The topic I'm looking to do is design thinking and linking it to transition design. So I have got a PowerPoint, unfortunately, so I'll have to use this. I'm having to record this because I'm due to go live to air with you guys at about 1 o'clock in the morning, and this is the best alternative. So anyway, bear with me. I shall attempt to share my screen and hope for the best. Okay. So here's a lovely picture of the central deserts of Australia. And I'll take you on a bit of a journey in relation to this. The comparisons, I always like to draw on comparisons between countries, and Australia is in a unique parallel with the Arab states. So I'm subtitling this from resources to a service economy. Yes, my background is architecture, interior design, furniture design. I've featured in a number of publications. This is one from about 2010, where they were identifying me as a future leader and commentator in design in the Australian context, at least. So it's been an interesting journey to explore as a practicing designer the role that design thinking has moved into new areas of operation. So from 2010, I joined commentary on design thinking through a group called the DesignThinkers Network. It was just after the global financial crisis. I set up a little side chapter within that network looking at design as process. So I've largely been engaged in that level of operation. So from that 2010 interaction with the Design Thinkers Network, when the Design Thinkers group formed out of that network in about 2013, I became the Australian partner. And shortly after that, Harvard Business Review ran a feature article, 2015, on the evolution of design thinking. So it's been a short journey, just over a decade, but it's been an interesting one. So I've given papers, presentations internationally, predominantly in India. So that's close by the Arab nations. So it's talking about sustainable infrastructure. So it's based on my architectural work in that particular instance, and spoke in 3 major cities across India in about 2011, talking about the experience economy. And so the word experience is an interesting category within the design thinking family, with user experience and customer experiences, key attributes to what design thinking has been able to add value to. So once again, the work that I was looking at was museum development, and ran a couple of papers and did some presentations with ICMOS, the International Council of Museums, and did a paper in Egypt, most recently looking at the experience economy and museum development in India. So the customer experience, again, and its link to the economy is what I've was talking on in that particular instance. So linking Australia to the Arab states, the Australian economy puts out these snapshots. Once again, it's good user experience. It's infographics. It's not not a 5-page or 50-page text document. It's a visual communication tool, and once again, that's one of the key skills that design brings to this particular area of debate. But I was particularly interested in export types. Australia is highly reliant on resources as an export. Our major trading partner, as you can see, there is China, and we're obviously looking to link with India as a major opportunity for expansion, so as we're not so dependent on dealing with one particular nation at one particular time. So it's a similar set of stories with the UAE and the Arab states within that area. So as you can see here, stats from 2021 on the Australian industry earning movement. You're seeing mining is the top blue bar, or the second top blue bar, far outweighing anything else that we're producing. So it's putting us in a bit of an invidious position. So similarly, the parallels there with the oil industry coming from the Arab nations. So climate is a major factor that everyone's looking at these days. We're talking about breaking away because we're breaking all the records in terms of climate and the greenhouse effects. So currently looking at 2.9 degrees Celsius. So oil and the oil industry is under pressure to transition, and so that's what everyone's looking to explore. And you've got that great opportunity coming up shortly with COP28, which is looking to happen in Dubai in the next little while. Okay, so the focus on that is to channel the monies internationally to things that are doing good, and that is obviously indicated by International Monetary Fund, linking to the UN Development Program, Sustainable Development Goals, and the diagram in the top right-hand corner is emphasizing the 5 Ps, which is people, planet, prosperity, partnerships, and peace. So peace is an interesting one. If you look at the Renaissance periods that the world, as we knew it then, have experienced, has largely been through trade, communication within peaceful times. So we've made great advances as a civilization through experiencing peaceful times. So we can only hold out our hope that that will continue. Okay, so Australia is part of the British Commonwealth, so we have a major connection and tie back into various attributes of industry, governance, and the like. This is a diagram produced from the UK Design Council, which has been a major repository of knowledge for UK industry, and it's been shared worldwide. But instances of programs like Design for Planet is very much a current focus. So it's not individual countries, it's really how do we maintain a planetary experience and grow and service our populations. So transitioning from energy to service. So the non-oil sector to push UAE economic growth beyond 6% mark in 2023 is what everyone was hoping for. So this is from a media publication just released shortly. But everyone's looking at these opportunities to transition away from an existing state into a new state, so away from oil and minerals in the resource sector to the service sector. So in this instance, linking to my experience and my particular area of focus is tourism. So museums, tourism, the experience economy is largely what people are leaning to. It's fairly low-hanging fruit, to be honest. But if people are looking to move to these countries to visit for visitor experience, people are looking to invest money in visitor experience and customer experience to expand on the growth in that particular area. Okay, so from my work in India, an example case study that I worked on with Museums of Ahmedabad, which is a group organizing themselves around developing that user customer experience. I gave a 3-day workshop at Ahmedabad University of Technology and linked with them to come up with ideas and concepts for that particular cultural experience that international visitors are wanting to engage within. So it was run by the Vice Chancellor, gave the opening address, and myself as a keynote speaker in that particular instance. So I mentioned the Design Council before. This is a tool that most design thinkers will know in their sleep. But for mine, double diamond is a key diagram. And from my understanding of being around at the very early days, the caption in the bottom there is suggesting the double diamond is 15 years old, as espoused by the now director of the Design Council in the UK, Kat Drew. It was a diagram that was drawn from research of assessing responses from 600 key design agencies within the UK and getting them to articulate in a clear way what it was designers actually did and formulated this diagram out of that research. It has turned around in the past 15 years to be seen as a user's guide for non-designers to be able to practice design, which is a particular bugbear of mine. I'm very much into co-design and collaboration in multidisciplinary design practice within organizations. So at least having a designer at the table to oversee the operation of these particular methodologies. So the double diamond was seen as a design process for design management, for people that wanted to manage designers within their organization in a traditional product-based sense, but that has now moved and also have connections with the World Design Organization, which is now largely the international body for industrial designers who play a major role in the design thinking sphere. But the design idea of what a designer actually was recently changed within their mission and vision statements with the World Design Organization stipulating that we've moved from product into service, system, and process. So it's the design as an entity has expanded over time, and management has taken up that lead as a key tool to bringing creativity and innovation within their organizations. So guidelines that are established from the UK Design Council, I won't go into that in any great detail for you here, but it's freely available for you to look through. And as I said, been practicing for about 15 years, utilizing this method to explain to people that aren't familiar. So the connection between design thinking, and this new area of transition design. Lots of words get thrown about the place, like transformative design and the like. I prefer transition because I'm helping people move from one situation to another, hence the scission part of the trans, rather than transforming. I'm not looking to change the shape of an organization, looking to change the way they manage their policies and run their organizations. So transition design is relatively new. It's been largely based around the work of Terry Irwin, the lady on the left in the headshots there. Cameron Tonkinwise is a New South Wales-based Australian academic who's had a lead role in that, and Gideon Kossoff is the third person that was largely involved in that movement in those days. And new diagrams, new models have been developed around their program, as is indicated here with the Palmieri diagram around transition pathways. Okay, so transition design. This is the 4 areas of co-evolving knowledge and skill sets that was determined by Irwin et al. And I'll just go through that. And I'm linking that to the double diamond, the discovery stage, sort of theories of change, looking at the context within the culture of a country, an organization, a business. So the theories from different fields and disciplines informing a deep understanding of dynamics of change. So that is the discovery stage of the double diamond. And it's the research stage. So that's where you're sort of really doing a deep dive in divergent thinking, looking at as much as you possibly can, gathering as much information as you can, and then moving to the defining stage where you're narrowing down your options to one that's best suited to the path that you've chosen to follow, that you've developed collaboratively with your client. In this particular instance, from my design experience, it's largely been client-based, and working with them to narrow down the opportunities and then formulate a direction to move forward, to transition their business or their product line. Then develop is new ways of designing systems and interventions. So you've come up with an idea, but you think that you can do it, but you still got to develop that idea to a point where you can start to move on to the next stage, which is the delivery stage, which is the documentation and the expediting of the project or the system that you've got in place. So the visions of transition, visions are co-created visions of long-term futures that are sustainable, equitable, desirable, informed projects in the present, and act as a step along the transition pathways toward the future. So that's where everyone was involved in this non-lineal approach to design, which the double diamond definitely is drawn up in a lineal fashion. But it's creating this circularity. So you get to a point where you've achieved that outcome, and then you're starting to think about the future already and how you can develop new strategies to go forward or future-proof your project by allowing things to change going forward. So everything's in a state of flux. It's constantly moving. So more diagrams that I pulled out in terms of models as tools, looking at different forms of thinking. So this is a project manager approach from about the year 2000. Fred Nichols is attributed to this work. So going from the explicit to the tacit to the implicit. I'm trying to explore this notion at the moment myself around knowledge and our assessment of knowledge. So we're looking at the explicit, the implicit, and the tacit knowledge sets there, and our different modes of assessment across education, at least with summative, formative, and diagnostic. So that's still a work in progress. So I'm not going to hold that out as any model in particular at this point in time, rather than just a question mark of how it all stacks up. But loosely, it's where have you got the knowledge from? You've got it from life experience, from parents, from teachers, from situations within that. But design gives you the opportunity to pull that apart and question those elements as far as you possibly can, and through that we are developing different levels of knowledge systems there. So I'll move on to an area that is interesting around abductive design, or abductive thinking at least, and this is where I have always lent towards design thinking rather being abductive thinking. So it's taking a traditional method of education, which has been deductive, narrowing down existing choices, and an inductive, which is a generalization of existing ideas. But with abductive thinking, it is a combo approach. It's a hybridization of that. So you are in control. You are using design to say, well, okay, what tools do I need to use to experiment, to research, to delve into this particular field, and give me the answers that I actually need. So in effect, that is research design. How do you design your research to give you the information that you actually want? But abductive design is by and large what I see as design thinking, at least anyway. So my takeaways for you through this is don't be the lone genius, work in creative teams. There's a lot of media out at the moment about the death of design thinking. It might just be a name change. I think that the processes will largely stay the same. But the question is how have organizations effectively utilized design thinking as a process within their organization? Have the project teams that they've selected and collected in one place to do the project, what are their qualifications? Are they designers? Do they have any understanding beyond just a 4-hour workshop that they did in design thinking on what is the best process and how to bring creativity to that team? So multidisciplinary teams, as I was alluding to before, were keen, and that the key to it. And you are calling on your human resource department at that point in time to populate your organization with people of multidisciplinary talents, rather than just straight out of the accounting schools or straight out of the MBA schools, looking to take people with a strong background in creativity to join their organizations as well. So the second point there is understand it's a journey, and one that everyone is on. So I'm fully understanding that my MBA students in the past have come from not so much a math science background, but the accounting and other business areas, and they have little life experience of it, and they see the double diamond and they think, oh, it's an easy step-by-step manual. All I got to do is follow that and I'll get the result. It's not as easy as that. So everyone's got to understand where they're coming from and be open to opportunities for collaboration. And the third point in closing is transition requires a design mindset for a fit and proper purpose. So human-centered design is a key attribute to design disciplines, and design thinking taps into to that particular aspect of it. So I thank you for the opportunity to share, and I shall attempt to sign out now. So thank you very much for your time. Sharing, and I shall see you.